Hey guys, so this right here, Nolo, come here. This right here, go eat your treat, is Nolo's meal prep station. So I'm gonna show you guys a close-up view of everything and how I store it. I think it's called a kitchen island, like a floating something on wheels. Like I don't know the technical name of it. So excuse me. So that is pretty much what this is. So it's not like you may necessarily type in raw feeding meal prep station and something like this pops up. I just repurposed it for my raw feeding supplies and meal prep supplies. That's all. I will have this one in particular linked down below. I'm really happy with it actually, quality wise, and the assembly was very easy. It took me less than an hour. You could totally do it by yourself, or you can have somebody help you or get somebody else to do it. It's totally up to you, but it took me less than an hour and everything was pretty straightforward, really simple, really easy to understand. So I was happy about that, and the overall quality I'm very happy with. So let me go ahead and show you kind of a little bit more of a detailed view of everything. This particular unit has a really nice wood countertop, which I like, and in my meal prep videos, this is actually what you see all the time when I do like a picture or I show you a little clip of my meal prep. This is what I cover. I use a little tablecloth and I cover the top of this just to protect it from staining. And this is really nice because just to have it in your space as is, it takes up a really small amount of space, but then you can extend the countertop, which is really nice. So for day to day, I don't have this extended. I just leave it as is and it's perfect. It came with these two compartments on the side. So one has a paper towel roll, which I use. I do try to be a little more conscientious of my paper towel use, and I've been trying to cut that down, and I haven't quite eliminated paper towels from my home completely, but I mean it would be nice to work towards that. And then here on the right side, I guess people would use as a spice rack or something. I just have all of his daily supplements in here, and it's very convenient. So that's kind of the gist of this entire island station, I guess. It's also nice because it has wheels, so the two front wheels have a lock on it. So if this were in your like home or your apartment or your living space in general, and you're really worried about, oh, if you have kids or like your dog is bigger or something, you're worried about them pushing it and it's starting to roll, you can lock the two front wheels and secure it in place, and then that'll, I guess, save you that headache. But I never really lock it because I don't find the wheels to move very easily on their own. You do have to use quite a bit of force, and I don't have kids, so it's not like I have to worry about my kids running around and kind of like moving this in. So inside this cupboard, I have 3 shelves. This is the first one up here, and what's really nice is you can actually use these little well, I don't know the technical term for it, but you can customize how much space you want between each shelf. So I did this first one here to have the least amount of space between the base of the shelf and the top right here of the unit. Starting with this corner, we have my Swedish dishcloth collection. I have quite a bit, and I try to just use a couple at a time, and then once they're kind of like disintegrated, then I'll move on to pulling some more out of the stack. And then I have 3 plates here. Those are just like decorative ones that I use when I do some like fun plates and stuff for his food sometimes. And then his actual like regular everyday food bowls, those I just have right in my kitchen because I wash them every time he eats. And then over on this side of the top shelf, I have some random extras of things. So these are some backup supplements, and then I have back there some backup healing potion from Wally Blended. Those are some training treats that I really like from a company that I like to support. I like their products, and I'll have everything linked down below so you don't have to worry about asking. It'll be down there. So backup joint powder, backup urinary berry powder, backup bug off, flea and tick powder, and some backup probiotic. And then I have, these are just some cow hooves from Raw Feeding Miami. I don't know, I stored them in here. I have my scale. That is what I use to measure out his food and stuff when I do meal prep. And then I have, this is just like random glass jar. I like to save these sometimes because when I want to do DIY treats, or if I want to store like bee pollen or something, those containers come in handy. And I know these Swiss Miss hot cocoa tins look very sus, but they're empty. I had hot chocolate from like around Christmas time and stuff in there, and then I figured, oh, these are actually like nice tins I could use to store stuff in. But I have 4, and that's what the scale is sitting on top of. And just in case if someone's wondering, this is just these are 2 extra scoops for the wildly blended supplements that I have. So moving on, let's go to the second shelf. So second shelf, I mainly use, there we go, I mainly use it to store all of the meal prep containers. Again, this stuff will be linked down below. So these are all dishwasher safe. That's the reason I got them. I like to separate the lids. It just stores a lot better this way. Separate the lids from the actual containers. That way you can stack and fit a whole lot more, and it will take up a lot less space. So these are the same exact brand. So they're the same size and they stacked really easily there. Behind that are some lids that'll go with like this stack over here. And then this row here, all the way in the back that you see, this one stacked back there, it's actually on top of the lids that go with that container. That is a different brand, so while it holds the same amount of food, the shape of it is just a lot different from this. I'll link a couple down below. I think all of them that I link will most likely be dishwasher safe because I put these on the top rack of the dishwasher and they're good to go. I don't have to worry about hand washing all of them. That can be really tedious. And then to the left, well, my left of the meal prep containers, I have 2 of his little puppy game things. On top of that, we just have 2 fun slow feeders. These are the medium size because Nolo is not like a giant guy. This is the purple one. So these are nice when they're, let me put them back. I really like the quality of these slow feeders, and I got 2. They were on sale when I got them, so it was for like a steal basically. Nolo likes to eat really fast sometimes and like gulps on the food. He's not like awful about it. Sometimes I'll put his breakfast in a slow feeder and it really like makes him, it forces him to kind of take his time. He still gulps it down though. You could also, if you don't have slow feeders, if you don't want to buy them, you could literally use, oh, that's Nolo in his crate, sorry. You can literally use a baking sheet or like those muffin tins. You can just separate the food either right side up, like put the food in the muffin tray part of it, or you can flip it upside down and then kind of like spread the food around that and then put it on a baking sheet. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. But yeah, you could literally like use what you have at home if you don't want to go out and buy something like this. And then I took advantage and I stored my like handheld mixer. This is just like one of the attachment things with the whisk, and then back there is the blade for it, and then the base of it. It's just a handheld mixer. Y'all know what those are, I hope, I think. But yeah, this just kind of fit perfectly right in here, so I just stored in there because I used to use this. This is at the bottom here, but I'll just show you now. I used to use this because the hand mixer attachment goes right up there. I used to have to use this to blitz up his breakfast. And then this is the very last row. This is just the absolute bottom of the cupboard. So here I used it to store like my bulkier items. So on the right here, that's just a jar of quinoa. It's just regular, plain, raw, hasn't been cooked. That's just a seed in there. And then behind that I have, I think it's chia seeds back there. If you want to see that back there, those are chia seeds. I have it in my cereal jar, but it's okay. I know it's chia seeds. And then I have my blend tech down here. I have, it came with 2 attachments, jug things, I don't know. One is for like smoothies and ice creams, and then there's just this one, the regular piece here. That's this guy. So I store it in here because it's pretty slender. And then to the left here, this is my dehydrator. So it came with all of these trays, and then that's the base of it. That's just the one I have, so I'll link that. I'll link all of these things in the description if you guys are interested, you want to know specifically what I have. But yeah, that is pretty much it for the cupboard. So let's move on to, I'll do the supplements here on the right hand side, and then we'll get into the drawers. So to the right here, we have what is technically a spice rack, but I use it to hold all of his supplements that I typically reach for on the daily. And it just worked out perfectly, which is a coincidence, but it held everything that I needed for day to day. So this is a pill splitter, and it comes in really, really handy. I use it to split the zinc pills and then sometimes the manganese one, but I haven't had to reach for manganese in a minute. So the next one here, I think this is a chelated. Yeah, this is the Solgar brand chelated manganese. Again, all of this stuff is going to be listed. Next to that here, this is just a CBD tincture. This is specifically for pets. It is a full spectrum one. CO2 extraction used here. I mean, this is a really good one. Roughing Miami used to carry this, but they don't anymore. This is not something that I use daily or very often, actually. It's a once in a while kind of item that I reach for if he's like being super, super crazy, zooming all over the place when he needs to be chilling. Like sometimes I'll put this with dinner, but it's not something that I reach for all the time. So next to that is the vitamin D that I use for him. These are just capsules. Let me see. I don't know. Can you see that? Yeah. These are just capsules. So really easy to like burst one of them open and then just give half if you have to, or if you give the whole thing, like you can just leave it as is. Next to that is the vitamin E. These are just capsules. Again, regular like gel capsules. Do you see that? Yeah. So these he gets like all the time. The measurement and what the recipe calls for. These are what I've been reaching for instead of the liquid one, which I'll show you in a second. And then next to that is his chelated zinc. I have to say that I haven't had to purchase new bottles. I do have backups just in case, but I haven't had to open a new bottle of anything so far from like since the moment I got him and started doing his raw recipes and his cooked recipes. So, I mean, pretty good investment because they've lasted this long and he's 11 months now. And some of these things are fed like, well, I mean, not some of them, like all of them, except the manganese because right now, like I said, it's already covered in his food that he's eating. But like I use these daily, like the zinc gets fed, the vitamin E, the vitamin D, and then the kelp that's back here. This is the powder. So it comes with a really tiny scoop. Let me see if I can show you. See. This is the size of the scoop. And when you're feeding kelp for iodine, a little tiny scoop like that comes in handy because you can really get at least close to, or as close as possible to the measurement that you need if your scale can't measure like that small of an amount. But you can totally use the capsules. They have kelp capsules. And then the brand Solgar, they also have a kelp capsule as well. So if you can't get your hands on the powder, because I know it's really hard to get a hold of at the moment, you could still use the pills, the capsules. That would be totally fine, so long as you're dosing it correctly. I think I forgot to include this when I was showing the supplements because I put it off to the side, but this is just the omega-3 oil that I have. And it's pretty big, so I just leave it usually on top of the counter like this. And this gives you an idea of like how wide it is. So it tucks away into a corner pretty nicely. And then this last guy back here, this is just a liquid vitamin E oil from Solgar. Moving on now to the drawers. I really like this particular unit because it has 3, so I felt like I felt like it had a really decent amount of storage space for me. So in the first drawer here, these are his supplements. So this is like backup supplements and then stuff that's not necessary for meeting nutrient requirements. So I have a bunch of scoops and like measuring spoons here, but these 4 little like tiny mason jar thingies, these have like training treats in them. So it's from the same brand that I showed you earlier. So down here I have my open bug off, so my flea tick powder, herbal supplements, herbal alternative to flea and tick medicine. I've been giving this. I really like it, but that is a spicy topic. Just go with what your vet, advises and make educated decisions that are going to be best for you and best for your pet. Don't base anything you do with your pet off of what I do or what other people say to do. Do the research yourself and make that decision based off of what you gather information on and whatever you feel is going to be absolutely best for your pet. Okay, disclaimer. Thank you. And then next to that, this is the open Super Snouts urinary berry powder. All this is a powder version of cranberries and wild berries. So that's the only thing that's really in here. I don't know, it's kind of hard to see, but It's just to support their urinary tract health essentially. And not all dogs can have cranberry, so you want to be careful, do your research, but this powder is nice. He gets it a couple times a week here and there. I don't have problems with him with UTIs. I know that with female dogs, it can be a lot more prevalent to have urinary tract infections and issues with that, just because of, you know, anatomy. But this is a really nice alternative to just feeding cranberries, because I can't always get my hands on like fresh or frozen like plain cranberry. I also have the Super Snouts joint powder. This is an open one. And by the way, all of the Super Snouts products that I have, they come with a scoop inside, which is really nice. And they tell you on the side how much you should be feeding based on like the size of your pet and stuff. This is a green lip mussel powder. Now, I do not use this to meet, again, any nutrient requirements. This is just a powder you can give to support joint health. And I do not feed this every single day. He gets this a couple times a week. Or when he's being fussy, like when I was trying to feed him regular frozen mussels, steamed mussels, he wasn't having any of that. But then I poured this over it and then he gobbled them up. So he's a weirdo, but this is really nice because if I pour this over something, I shouldn't say pour because it's not a liquid. If I sprinkle this over a particular food, or even when I try to hide the supplements, I'll sprinkle some of this or something else over it and he will gobble it up. Next to that, this is unopened. We have a gut feeling probiotic powder. The probiotic powder that I'm currently feeding, I have it in my fridge actually. I've shown it before. Here it is. This is the one that I'm currently feeding. Again, I'll link it down below. I put it in my fridge, not because it says you have to, and it already comes with a scoop in there. So I have a good amount still left, and this is another product that I've been using since I picked up Mr. Orlin when he was like 8 to 9 weeks old. So as soon as that one is finished, I plan on starting the gut feeling, and then when I'm finished with gut feeling, I'll maybe go back to this just to like switch it up. I don't want to stick with one brand forever. I think that's not the best thing, especially with probiotics. Sometimes it's good to switch it up to make sure their system isn't like completely used to one product. I'm really excited to try this one, but I'm not going to open it yet until the one that I have is completely finished. And then on top of that is just some blue spirulina powder. This I'm going to be making like a dedicated blog post about. If you are curious to know maybe more about spirulina, what it's used for, maybe some of the benefits, like I will do a whole proper post to talk about this, and we can talk a little bit more about it then. Behind that, we've got another Well Blended. This video is sponsored by, just kidding, it's not. This is the perfect pair. This was a seasonal supplement, and oh, it's a really beautiful color. Let me just show you. Ooh, so pretty. This smells like cinnamon, and I don't know, the holidays. This has pear, beets, pomegranate, cinnamon, rosemary, and thyme. This is just like one of those fun supplements that if you want to like spice up a treat, that's just like a cute thing that you can add to it to give it like some beautiful color, some flavor, but with the ingredients actually being beneficial and healthy and not just like a bunch of junk and additives and preservatives and artificial coloring. You know, it's just like a really fun, cute supplement. So it's not necessary to be feeding every single day. Then we have this beautiful large jar, Large and in Charge. This is my bee pollen. This is local, so it's like the bee pollen granules. I'm not even gonna open it because I think I'm gonna drop it and break it. This bee pollen, when I say this, I mean bee pollen. This I feed throughout the week, especially when it's warmer, into like spring and fall and stuff like that, when the weather is just like gross and disgusting and we usually don't want to go outside because there's like so much pollen and we're all sneezing. Around that time is usually when I feed this like a lot, but for the most part I kind of continue throughout the year, honestly. Like even in winter I give it here and there. Again, this is another supplement you do not have to feed to cover any of your necessary nutrients. This is just one of those additional items that maybe falls into more of like your holistic care sort of thing, holistic supplement situation. But I have a post that I already wrote up and I will be sharing that. We'll talk more about that in that post, so I won't say anything else. So moving on. I have a backup of the vitamin E because I don't know if you guys saw it in that one that I opened that I'm using right now. It's almost out, so I needed a backup. These are 2 packets of Kin & Kind hip and joint supplement and their Raw Vita Boost. Again, this is another company that pretty much sells the powdered version of like whole foods. So there's no extra nonsense in there. It's just the whole food turned into a powder, and it's nice. We've got some Slippery Elm in here. This is the Now brand. This I have a backup of right behind here. These I purchased because I wanted to have something on hand for when I need a quick fix or remedy for Mr. Nolo's soupy poopy situations. Slippery Elm is a really great product you can reach for, all natural, and it can really help firm up, you know, the stool. Again, that's gonna be another product that I'm gonna do like a blog post on, because I do plan on doing something where I share all of this stuff that I've done or that I found that works for Nolo when it comes to firming up a runny poo situation or like diarrhea and stuff like that, so long as it's not linked to like an actual health problem or like something related to having parasites. I mean, it's just a genuine like out of the blue, oh my gosh, now you have diarrhea, what am I supposed to do? I'll do, it's like a post like that. So I'm going to talk about Slippery Elm then, and that's something that you guys can look forward to in the future soon, not like too far away. But yeah, that is Slippery Elm. And then I have, oh yeah, these are more bee pollen capsules. So this is from Now brand. This is not like locally sourced bee pollen. These, I have this one here too. This is unopened and this is opened. These are for like me. I just never bothered actually using them, unfortunately. So I ended up putting them in here because I'm like, I feel like I would probably give it to Nolo before I would take it. So before I actually got my hands on the local one, since I had these for myself and I never bothered using them, they come in these capsules. Oh, here we go. They come in these, can you see that? These little capsules, and it's very, very easy to twist and open, and then you can like sprinkle some of it into their food or whatever. I did initially like try this out with him and had, I mean, great results. He didn't have any kind of reaction to it. It didn't cause any issues. So that could be an alternative for some people who just absolutely cannot source or get their hands on local bee pollen granules like this. I mean, ideally, the whole point is you would want to get something that's locally sourced, because you would want it to be from like the plants and stuff native to your area, right? But I mean, if you just can't get your hands on anything else, I guess these could work, because they worked well for him. And I have this Maximum Recovery Restorative Care. It says senior support, but your dog doesn't actually have to be a senior to use this. I know that you want to give it to a puppy like regularly. This is not something that I gave him every single day. So the purpose of this is like as a recovery supplement. So say they had a lot of outdoor activity, a lot of physical activity. It's something that you can feed with like dinner or a treat or whatever, just to help them like physically recover from all that activity. That's kind of how I use this. So when he was super, super active, like going nonstop, that's not me purposefully exercising him that hard. Like that's just him with his energy going nutso for like 2 hours straight, like sprinting like a psycho. I would give him stuff like this throughout the week. I know the fact that it says senior support, it kind of scares a lot of people, because they're like, my dog's not a senior, like I don't want to give him something like that. But it's just a mushroom supplement, guys. So I had no issues giving that to him. My vet didn't have any issues with it either. And again, it's not something that he gets every single day. And this also comes with a scoop. You can see I have a ton in here. And it also tells you like how much you should be giving based on the weight of your pet and all that good stuff. Oh, and then back here, the last thing in here, oh actually no, the second to last thing, I didn't show you the CBD, but this is just some calcium carbonate. This one's open because his puppy recipe, well he's still a puppy, but like his puppy recipes when he was like a fetus puppy, in the cooked recipes that I have that did not include any bone, we subbed some calcium carbonate so that he can get that calcium. So that's just what that is. And back here we just have two unopened backups of the CBD oil that I already showed you guys, and that is going to be it for this drawer. I really like these drawers. They are deep, like pretty, you can store some like tall items in here, and they also go pretty far back, so I love this. Anyways, in here I just have an unopened pill splitter, and I have some raw pepitas. These are pumpkin seeds, y'all. And I need to do some more fermented pumpkin seed. Oh, I'm gonna show you that in a video. I'm gonna show you how I do the fermented pumpkin seeds. Stay tuned for that. Then back here we have 4 packs of the treats that I showed you that are up in here in the first drawer, in those little, like these little mason jar things. These treats, I use these open ones to refill them. I also dehydrate my own meats and stuff and use them as treat, or I purchase them online. Y'all know the companies that I love. I'll link those below. Moving on, I have like, the only Kong that I have is this little baby pink one. This was for when he was like a tiny little thing. This was really good. It saved my fingers. The other TOPPLS are in the freezer right now, but when I do have them in here, they're all stacked. So the 2 big ones, and then I put the small ones on top, and they fit perfectly, but that's kind of their home when they're empty and I'm not using them. And then over here, these are 2 like sticky, you see that? Oh wait, no, you don't see that, shoot. These are like the suction cup, slow feeder, like mat thingy majiggies. So like you can, let me see. See that? They just stick to anything. If you have to like groom or give a bath or cut nails or something like that, you can literally like paste something on here, freeze it, and then have them go to town and be distracted while you do whatever you're doing. I'll link these down below, don't worry. And then I have back here, this is just a slow feeder like situation. You can either use them for treats, so again you can use them like the lick mats where you put some yogurt or whatever it is and freeze it and then have that and give them as a treat, or you can actually like press their food into this. If you feed minced meats or anything like that, literally like press it in, freeze it, and it'll take them quite a while to finish. So it's like a 4-part one. Let me see if I can show you. I have another part of it in the freezer, but like these little bits on the end there, you can literally just like slide them together. So like one end has the grooves, the other end has the little part here, and then you just slide them together. And then there's like 2 other pieces that go. So the green one is like a rubbery silicone, and it has suction cups. They're not like super great, but they kind of work, see? So you could again use them in the shower and stuff, I guess, if you want to give a bath and distract, but I think this one would be better for that. That's the second drawer. Now let's move on to the last drawer before my battery dies. Now, last drawer really quickly. This is just where I have all of his SNOOP toy thingies. This is a busted one because he ripped it, but you open it, you put a treat, okay, well, whatever, you get it. You put a treat inside and then pop it back down, and then they like struggle to get it out. He doesn't really struggle, he just destroys, as you can see. So I have several of these. These were like the baby ones, and then these are the full size like standard ones. So I have a couple of those, and this is like my human stuff in here. But these are all of the silicone trays and stuff that I use. These are some funnels over here. But I have like some fun ones like ice cream, and like a dog shaped one and all that good stuff. And then I have the regular like paw print ones that you guys see all the time. So these are all of the silicone molds that I use. That is everything here. This is not dirty, it's just like this happened after I went in the dishwasher. I don't know what it is, but yeah. But that is pretty much it, you guys. Thank you so much for watching, and don't forget to let me know if there is something else that you want a little bit more information on, or maybe you want me to do a separate blog post to talk a little bit more about. Maybe you want to see a video on something else. Let me know in the comments and I will think about it. I'll consider it. I'll probably do it, but yeah, maybe not. We'll see, depending on what it is. But yeah, thanks for watching. See you around, maybe in the future. Who knows? Nolo, come here. Okay, get out of the shot, dude. Excuse me. I'm trying to show people your raw feeding station, your meal prep station. Okay, thank you.